What you guys, got another video here for you. Now, I've recently purchased the AMD Radeon RX 6700 XT, and a lot of people may think I'm absolutely bonkers because it seems that a lot of YouTubers, especially the bigger YouTube channels, have absolutely slammed the AMD 6700 XT and any other version of AMD's card releases lately. Now, personally, I think they're a pretty decent card. Okay, they're not probably as good as the NVIDIA 3070 on all games, but it does beat it in some games, and maybe it's not good at certain rendering tasks and other things like that. But at the end of the day, you have to weigh up the pros and the cons why you would want a card like this. So let's go over that in this video. First off, I would like to say that it's virtually impossible to get your hands on a RTX 3070 in the UK or any other RTX card, to be honest. They're pretty much as rare as hen's teeth. You can't get them. And if you do find one, it's normally triple the price or even more for an RTX 3070. So when you put that up against something like this, it's not worth it. I picked this one up for £650, and I think, yes, it's over the MSRP, what they are recommended, but in today's climate, I don't think it's that bad at all compared to prices of the RTX 3070. Now let's talk about the second thing, which is availability. There's plenty of availability for the AMD cards because no one's buying them because of the fear mongering on YouTube where people are telling people not to buy them. Now personally, if you have got a low-end card or you're waiting for a card, I've been waiting for a RTX 3070 forever, and I've just completely given up and just gone with the AMD 6700 XT. Yeah, I'll take a little bit of a hit, but at the end of the day, I've got my hands on a decent card. It's £679 now, 99 pence, but even that price is still not as bad as some of the RTX 3070 prices. Now, I sold my really good card and I ended up using a 1660 Super, so this upgrade for me is perfectly fine. I'm using 1080p 144Hz monitors, so this card should be perfectly fine for my needs. So before we check out eBay, if you do need a graphics card and you can't get your hands on an RTX 3070, then buying the RTX 6700 XT is still a pretty good card, as long as you're getting it at a reasonable price, because I can guarantee you won't get an RTX 3070 at this price unless you actually buy it from a store and they're in stock, which is really hard to do. So you're going to end up buying them on eBay. And I'll show you what eBay's like for used cards at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous. Just take a look. So this is the RX Vega 64. It's an 8 gig card and it's been around for a while, and you can see the pricing on eBay has gone through the roof. People are paying ridiculous money for this particular card. And to be honest with you, it's not worth it. Not at that money. And yet people are complaining about the prices of the RX 6700 and the 6600. And these are brand new cards that you're purchasing at those prices. There was a 6600 XT Nitro card going for £379, and yet people are willing to buy something like this at these ridiculous prices. The 1070 Ti is no different. It's still way overpriced for an old card. Yes, it's still a capable card in 2021. That's not the point. The point is the pricing is way overpriced, and they are going for ridiculous money. And these are recently, these are in August, whereas if you go right back a couple of months ago, they were going for ridiculous prices back then. Same thing could be said for the GTX 1080 Ti. Again, still a relevant card in 2021 for a lot of people, but not at £420. It's not. It's just overpriced. And that's because of the shortage of graphics cards, and people are bumping up the prices for these graphics cards. Now, you're talking about used hardware that has had a tough life playing games, and people are still demanding a very high price for them, including the RX 580, £320. A little bit more would have got you a RX 6600 XT. Why would you go and buy a used RX 580 when you could buy an RX 6600 XT for £379, which was on eBuyer for the Sapphire Nitro version. It makes no sense to me why people overpay for old pieces of hardware. So let's take a look up the food chain a little bit and take a look at the RTX 2060. You can see people are paying £400 odd, £500 nearly, for a card like this. Now, it's a very capable card still. That is not the point. The point is people are willing to pay this for used hardware when you can go and buy yourself a brand new graphics card at those prices, which I think are a little bit high compared to the MSRP. But the problem is we're talking about the climate that we're in right now with the shortage of GPUs. I don't think it's that bad. On some sites, it's certainly a lot higher, which I've seen in the region of, £800 to £1,000 and more in some places. But you just have to wait and they will pop up and then you just choose the time to buy it when it's at a reasonable price. Let's take a look at the RTX 2070. Again, £500 for an RTX 2070 Super. Quite a lot of money for a card like that. Moving on to the 3070. Now, these cards are really rare to get your hands on them. Even though you're looking online, these people are scalping. They're going online and now deliberately waiting for a card to come on sale and they're buying it and then they're selling it. So these are not helping the situation. You can see £880, £760, £948. That card is not worth that much money, in my personal opinion. So people moan about a new release from AMD at the pricing, and yet you can see it's happening right here in front of you, and people are willing to pay for it because these are all sold. Why would you pay all that money when you can go and get a brand new card from a website and have it delivered to your door at less money? And people are even buying the RX 6700 XT and they're selling them, but they're not getting as much for them. And you can see here, they've either used them for a little bit and now they're selling them. Maybe they're not impressed with the performance. I don't know. Now, if you're looking on places like eBay and places like that, you can see that the RX 6700 XT is for sale. This one here is £674.99. It's in stock and you can buy it. And yet people are complaining about the shortage of graphics cards. And because people on YouTube have completely flamed the AMD release of the RX 6700 and the 6600 so much that people are just avoiding them. And yet they're willing to spend all that money on used hardware. Now, there was a lot more in stock, but people are seeming to buy these now. And this Red Devil one, £700, a little bit pricey. It has come down a bit, but £700. If you can get them cheaper, then snap them up, because they're still a pretty good card. Now, the RX 6600 XT 8GB Nitro Plus card, that was selling on there for about £380. I think it was some sort of flash deal or something, but they were going really quick once they realised the price of them. But again, I wouldn't pay £400 odd for that card. I think it's a little bit too much. And if you've got a Vega, an old Vega 64 card, then going to a 6600 XT would be a bit pointless. And especially at £479, that's a bit much for that particular card, or 466. That has to come down a little bit more for me. But 650, what I paid for mine, was not too bad. Now, again, you have to look into what type of cards are available. The 3070s are really hard to get your hands on. They really are. And when they are in stock, they're normally pretty expensive. As you can see here, £800, 8 of them in stock for an RTX 3070. And that's the gigabyte version. And for me, that's way too much money for spending on a card, especially an RTX 3070, when you can get an RX 6700 XT for $650, which is what I got mine for. Same thing for the RX 3070 Ti. Again, £900 for that is quite expensive. And I think I'd rather have the money in my wallet than in my PC for the amount of performance difference between the two. It's just not worth it in my personal opinion. And especially when you're running 1080p, 144 hertz monitors, it just doesn't seem worth it. So whatever you decide to do with your hard-earned cash, if you decide to save and wait for the RTX 3070 to come down to a reasonable price again, you could be waiting a long time. I've waited a long time to get my hands on one of those cards. I refuse to pay those extortionate prices like that. I already, I think, paid a little bit over the odds for the RX 6700 XT, but it wasn't as bad as it would have been if I would have went and bought an RTX 3070. So I'll be having a build video coming up real soon, and I'll be using that card in a build. And let me know in the comments section below what you think about the AMD graphics cards, and whether you would buy one, or whether you've been brainwashed by a lot of YouTubers on YouTube telling you not to buy them because they're rubbish. And it's all the same people. One person puts a bad review up, next they all follow suit. Anyway, I think that's going to be about it for this one. My name has been Brian from brightechcomputers.co.uk. I shall see you again for another video real soon. A big shout out to all my YouTube members who join my YouTube members group. I appreciate the support. Have a lovely weekend, and thanks again for watching. Bye for now.